1, 2, 3, 4. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on.
Do we got more of you than me? Okay, the camera's good then.
Well, there's always more of me than you.
More to love.
Yeah, well,
Here we go.
my wife begs to differ.
You know, we've
Yeah.
last day of June. That means we're less than 10 days away
Yeah.
from the Mike and John Summer Splash Party, July 9th.
Yeah,
A week from Saturday.
that's true. Very good.
We've got to start getting this thing put together.
I
don't
know.
we?
Well, we got
We have the movie, right?
the balls are in motion. Things are happening
We're
now.
juggling.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Okay. Hey, it's Mike and John Got It Going On, brought to you by Firehouse Doors. And yes, our Summer Splash Party, July 9th. Howl
You're
Theater.
invited.
Yeah. Free movie. Free bling for
Yes.
those that are in attendance.
Cooper and Binkley Jewelers, of course, giving away some great jewelry. We're going to draw for at the end of the movie. And speaking of Cooper and Binkley Jewelers, they are very proud to present local news, Gigo News, brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers.
And lots going on. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services has identified the first probable monkeypox case in an Oakland County resident. Preliminary testing returned a presumptive positive result for the virus, with confirmatory testing underway at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The individual is currently isolated and does not pose a risk to the public. The state health department is working with local health departments to notify any close contacts. Since the beginning of the current global outbreak, 5,115 cases have been confirmed in 51 countries, including the U.S. There are currently 306 confirmed cases in 27 states and D.C. Infection can begin with flu-like symptoms and swelling of the lymph nodes with progression to a rash on the face and body. Symptoms generally appear 1 to 2 weeks after exposure and infection, and the rash lasts about 2 to 4 weeks. Persons experiencing the symptoms should contact their healthcare provider for evaluation. Road work will greet commuters in Brighton and Genoa Township starting next week. Pavement rehabilitation and shoulder gravel work scheduled to begin Tuesday, July 5th, on Hacker Road between Clark Lake Road and Golf Club Road. The project's expected to last through Thursday, July 14th, although the work is weather dependent. The Livingston County Road Commission advises that there'll be high traffic impact and major delays. Although two-way traffic will be maintained via flag control, motorists are encouraged to avoid the area if possible. Shovel-ready projects identified by the Michigan Department of Natural Resources among its long list of critical needs in Michigan state parks. Are you shoveling?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
I'm shovel ready.
we do a lot of shoveling on this show.
We sure do.
Yes. Anyway, among those projects include an upgrade to a local lake. The DNR has given the green light for a $65,000 funding grant to install a new fishing pier with more universally accessible features at Portage Lake in the Portage Lake Campground. That project will match a federal grant and state funds. Officials say the projects are part of the DNR's Phase 1 funding, made possible through the Building Michigan Together plan, a $4.8 million infrastructure package signed by Governor Whitmer in March. That stemmed from the federal relief program, the American Rescue Plan. A congressional committee was in East Lansing Tuesday to hear directly from top cybersecurity officials on their work to protect Americans, including residents in Michigan, from an increasingly disruptive threat, ransomware. The field hearing of the Intelligence and Counterterrorism Subcommittee was convened by its chair, 8th District Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin, who said the issues being discussed definitely had local impact, noting that a ransomware attack in East Lansing 2 years ago wound up costing $1 million. Among those in attendance was Brighton's Mayor, Chris Tobey. Tobey also serves as Livingston County's Chief Information Officer. He said by sharing federal and state resources available to local agencies and leaders to address cybercrimes, the committee was helping governments and businesses come together to fight cyber criminals. Also present, Pinckney Village Manager Rebecca Foster, who's actually the village president. I think I've just demoted her to village manager. She's
Who gave
actually
you the power
president.
to do that?
I've just impeached her.
Can't do that.
I'm sorry.
Nothing.
I don't know
to do with it.
who wrote this crap. Anyway, Pinckney Village President Rebecca Foster said it was helpful and that it highlighted resources that have not been well promoted, questioning why the roundtable was the first that she was hearing that the state has a cyber division that has resources and assistance available for community cybersecurity. To that end, Congresswoman Slotkin posted details and contact information on her social media on how to reach the CISA. in Michigan to schedule a conversation, and those details are at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. And that's what's going on.
Have I been demoted yet?
I don't know. What have you done?
I'm
Anything?
about as low as I can go on the totem
Yeah.
pole. News brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. Of course, they're going to be a part of our big Mike and John Splash Party, which is coming up a week from Saturday, July 9th. Mark your calendar.
Have we talked about that? Have we
will.
mentioned it?
We'll slide it in
Okay,
somewhere
yeah,
in the
sure,
show.
okay.
Speaking of Cooper and Binkley Jewelers,
Yes.
Simon G. Jewelry representative was just in the store. Mark and Barb have placed their order, and they are going to arrive soon. All the orders, and if you go to their website, Cooper and Binkley, you'll see that their Facebook page. I'm looking at it right now.
All
It's
the
just-
Simon G.
Look at that! All that Simon G
That's a
stuff
lot of
that's
Simon
coming.
G bling.
So if you're a Simon G fan, even Zagani, Cooper and Binkley Jewelers has you covered. Also,
That's
if you
like
like something that's a one of a kind,
That's like your East Coast, West Coast.
you got Zagani.
Simon G and Zagani, yeah.
Zagani. It's fun to say too. Stop by. And
Sounds
check
like
it
a car that has gull wing doors. Do you have the new Zagani 5100? Oh man, that thing.
Sure.
That you should see it taking a curve.
It's comparable to a Vet, maybe a Lamborghini. Perhaps there'll be a movie. Zagani versus Simon G.
Or perhaps it's just beautiful jewelry.
It could be.
Yeah.
Stop by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers, downtown Brighton, to find out more. Go to their website, cooperandbinkleyjewelers.com, or even on Facebook, you'll see the new additions that are coming soon to Cooper and Binkley Jewelers.
Go on, check them out on Facebook.
We'll have the answer to last night's WNT, Wednesday Night Trivia, coming up. I don't think anybody's gotten it right yet.
Right. And we did have a question from somebody who said, on the Facebook page, they're like, where are the answers? You got to listen to the podcast.
The answer's in the wind, my friend. It's in the wind. Like our radio careers. In the wind.
Anyway, so you listen to the podcast to get the answers. We'll eventually post it up on Facebook. But
We like to keep you hanging a little bit. Come on now. Sometimes we forget. We don't post the answers until 3 days later.
That's not the part we're supposed to say.
Oh, that's right.
That was behind the scenes stuff.
Let me go back here.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes we forget. We post it 3 days later.
Good job.
All right.
Excellent.
I think I woke your kid up.
It's time for The Less You Know with Rich Perlberg, and it's brought to you by Jordan Genso at the Genso team at Remax Platinum. If you want to learn about the history of the Iberian Peninsula,
There's no Iberian Peninsula.
there is actually.
The Peninsula?
It's Spain. Anyway, a conversation with Jordan Genso will leave you knowing less, not more. See, because the Moors, they occupied Spain back in the Middle Ages, and
The Moors.
if you're a Seinfeld fan, there was a whole thing about moops, but that's a different story.
That's not Moors.
No, they're not. And there was a big fight between George and Bubble Boy over that.
No way.
But a conversation with Jordan Genso and the Genso team at Remax Platinum regarding the current housing market will give you the confidence to know what's going on. Give Jordan a call, 248-444-9777, or find him on Facebook, Jordan Genso, Community Servant, Community Realtor.
Do you think the Moors invented s'mores? Just asking.
Maybe.
I mean, they could have. They said, hey, let's have s'mores of
That's
that.
possible.
Rich
All right.
Perlberg, the less you know. What are we talking about today?
Picturegate.
Oh, Picturegate.
Mm-hmm. If he answers.
Maybe he's looking at pictures. I don't. Picturegate. Are we talking about the... Yeah, I dialed right. See, says his name, Rich Perlberg. Did you dial?
He's blowing us off. He is blowing us off.
Well, then we'll definitely know.
Hi, this is Rich.
Oh, hi, Rich.
Hey, Rich.
Oh, what the hell, man?
Now we gotta leave a message.
Okay.
He's
At
gonna.
the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording,
That's his
you may
secretary.
hang up or
Yeah.
press
Yeah.
1 for more options. To leave a callback number, press 5.
I'm not gonna.
No, he
He
knows
knows
the
it's
numbers.
us.
Hey,
Hey, Rich. It's us.
didn't we say we were going to
Talk today.
call? And
Talk. About
are you too busy looking at
pictures?
pictures?
Picturegate.
Yeah.
Is that what its official title
I
is?
don't think it has an
All right.
official title. Talking about the young man who let it all hang out.
While another man was getting a trophy.
Right. He had his participation trophy while the other guy was getting his NCAA trophy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
us a call,
give us a call back.
If we don't answer, we're probably talking to the mermaid.
You know what? I will say this much, though. This segment really lived up to its name because we really know a lot less now.
We do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk to Rich. Maybe we won't.
Yeah, we
See,
don't.
sometimes things roll like that here on Mike and John.
This is how it is. If we wanted to, we could, of course, edit. But why bother?
That would require more work. That gives us time, John, to delve into some
Yes,
of the
it does.
answers on last night's
All right.
trivia, Wednesday night trivia, and it read like this.
Yeah.
Studies found when it comes to our cars or our vehicles, 88% of men have done this at least once. 75% of women have, or have, as our typer. Who typed this?
Probably the same person that typed up my news and made Rebecca Foster the village manager.
Cover me while I edit that.
I'm busy editing my news story.
Yeah, sometimes this happens.
Well,
Why didn't the correct-to-type fix that for me?
I don't know. What is going on around here?
Somebody hacked my Facebook.
Yeah, let's blame that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm back to the question. It says now, studies have found when it comes to our cars or vehicles, 88% of men have done this at least once.
Right.
75% of women have. What is it they have done?
Answers?
I don't think we've gotten a correct one yet. Let somebody else drive your car. There was a time when I would not let anybody drive.
Right.
But I've grown out of that. Let's see. Yeah, this guy answered the question with, I've never heard the answers that you mentioned to these questions. Do you have to listen to the podcast?
Yeah, you gotta
You
listen.
have to. I don't
No,
wanna
you want to know
listen.
what? You don't have to listen.
That's right.
You can watch.
Carl.
You can watch Carl.
Should we look up Carl? No. All right, let's see. Replace the windshield wipers. Some cars are a little easier to do this. Once you know how to do
my
it, it's
God.
pretty easy.
It is so true.
But sometimes you're like, it's either super cold out, and that's when you need to change the windshield
See,
wipers. the most.
my previous vehicle I had for 10 years, and you're right, the first couple times I did it, you go, and then you finally figure it out. Now I've got a new car. I have not,
boom, boom.
I've not put on new wipers. I just got the car in December. I haven't yet put on new wipers, and I'm not looking forward to it.
If I were you, I'd call Murphy's Family Auto.
You know
they
what?
They know how to put wipers on your.
I'm going to need an oil change soon. I'm going to call Murphy's. I'll bring it in. They're open Saturday 8 to 1 now.
If you tell them we sent you.
Right. I could save 5% off. Hey, I sent me.
That's
I'm
right.
going to walk in there and go, I sent me.
That was sent by me.
I was sent by me. And I'd be like,
Where's my 5% off?
call the paddy wagon. The guy's here saying he was sent himself. Right, of course, Murphy's Family Auto, your car knows. You get more details about everything they do. Murphy'sFamilyAuto.com or call them 517-552-3040.
All right, let's get back to this.
Yes, back to this.
Yes, 88% of guys, 75% of women have done this when it comes to their car.
Right.
Did donuts in a parking lot. I did
that's-
that once. Long time ago. But it was winter. You had the snow to work with.
Right.
Yeah, it was empty grocery store parking lot at once.
I remember, everyone used to go to the high school parking lot on a weekend if it had just snowed.
Sure.
And I remember once going up there and waiting in line.
Should have been a ticket.
There was like 3 or 4 cars. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I got there. I thought I'd be bye-bye. And I'm like, oh, all right. I just pulled in line and waited.
So you
got my
donuts
turn.
by yourself? You didn't have any buddies?
No, I had friends.
Oh,
yeah,
you gotta have
but
buddies.
we pulled up and you're like, oh, there's cars ahead of us. Well, we'll just wait.
What does that say about somebody if they're doing donuts by themselves?
Well, that's kind of sad.
That's
kind of
sad.
I mean, that's just
it's
sad.
like going to a movie or
I mean,
out to
come
eat
on.
by yourself. That's not fun.
I mean, there's certain things you can do by yourself that are fun.
Sure.
But you don't want friends around. What are you thinking of?
Of course, he's talking about watching a chick flick.
Yeah.
Or
like
the Hallmark,
Splash.
or the Hallmark Channel.
Maybe a movie like Splash, which is coming up July 9th.
It is
at the
July
Historic
9th.
Hall Theater. That's the Mike and John Summer Splash Bash.
Look who decided to show.
Oh,
Rich Perlberg
Yeah.
decided to
All right.
show. All right, I guess
well.
I guess we'll take his call now. Good morning, late Rich.
it is the late Rich Perlberg.
I'm trying to come up with a good excuse, but I just was sitting in a place and I realized I didn't have any reception. So
The old.
It was in the
reception.
men's room.
that's why you
Okay,
guys called.
gotcha.
I should call you if you're in the middle of something else. But
Yeah.
All right. Well, we were in the middle of something. We
Yeah.
can interrupt.
Well,
it
we'll
for
go back
you.
to that, and we have to talk to a mermaid,
Yeah.
coming up here in a few minutes. But we'll squeeze you in.
Yeah, your pre-mermaid discussion. so we're talking about Picturegate today. The picture
Yeah.
that awed America.
Do you want to fill in the background?
Well, yeah.
Local paper exposed more than they planned to.
Right. There's a picture last week in the Livingston County Daily. Brighton athlete, part of this NCAA winning lacrosse team. And in the picture, you see him. He's holding the trophy, very happy. Up in the corner is a teammate, we assume, who is also displaying a trophy. with his pants around his ankles, and
I just want to point out here, it's not the size of the trophy that matters. It's that you've got one.
well, nonetheless, of course.
Okay, I do want to say, just before we get into this, my best time for humor was when I was in 7th grade. So I'm going to be trying to check myself.
Then you are at the right place, sir.
Okay.
This is 7th grade humor elevated to its highest form.
Beavis and Butthead was a little bit too sophisticated for me.
Like I said, you are in the right place. So now, look, you used to be the editor there. You've been a newspaper guy for your career, and things like, let's put it this way. At the time, I mean, and I even said this at the time, hey, the fact that this picture got through and was printed, boy, there's a lack of editors. Why didn't somebody see this and catch it? Gannett, they've slashed and cut the budgets, and this is the result of that. You maybe have a different take.
Well, I mean, let's be clear. The system they have in place now, they throw all their pages to some place. I don't know if it's Louisville or Indianapolis these days, and some people there slap together the pages and put them together, and they have had dramatic cutbacks. I think there's a handful of people left in Livingston County, so there's no doubt that plays a role. Okay, I'm not trying to say that, but I just I know I've been watching your reaction to it, and you've gotten all these people saying, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe all the cutbacks. This is what happens." The industry and our own paper has always had mistakes. I can't remember one where it was quite that blatant, but it's painfully easy to with all the decisions and all the stuff that's going on to have an error slip through. And I'm thinking if you had more people back in the day, we used to not do desktop publishing. The pages were laid out on layout tables, and all sorts of people were walking by them. And it just increased the chances somebody would see something.
Yeah, somebody would say, "Hey, look what that guy's got hanging out over there. You might want to edit that picture."
Maybe a little crop this down.
If you see about 5 or 6 people gathered over looking at a picture, you might want to take a look and see what's going on.
Hold on here.
There's a Murphy's Law type of thing that goes on that says the bigger the headline font, the more likely you are to miss the mistake. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And Ron Zwinkowski was a really well-respected editor for the Detroit Free Press, and he wrote a piece once that talked about how every editor, every reporter goes to sleep at night sometime, and then all of a sudden has this fear: did I correct that? Did I make that change?
Right.
Did I check that number? And most of the time, you wake up the next morning and find out, thank goodness you did. But
occasionally,
things can happen. Now, I don't think we ever at the paper had
what did you have?
exposés like that.
Very well put.
Well, let me ask you this, Rich. In the state of newspaper in the country and how everything's gone online and everything, could this perhaps have been? Oh, I'm opening up the scandal. On purpose. Because look at all the attention this thing has gotten. I don't think it did, but I'm just saying.
On purpose to get attention, or on purpose to make some sort of internal statement?
No.
Oh, well, or either. I don't know. What do you think?
I was more questioning whether the kid's up on the locker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Was this done on purpose?
I think it was, but
okay.
I wasn't talking about the kid. I'm talking about the paper putting that picture. So
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I really doubt it.
You would hope not, but
you're looking at is a submitted picture, and the focus should be on the kid in the trophy. The real trophy. Well, I don't know what to call the real trophy. See where you got me there.
yes, right.
No, I would be real surprised. That would be unusual. I mean, but now could somebody have noticed it and said, well, okay, they're making us jam these papers through and these pages through, but I'll tell you, I bet you a lot of people who got the paper never saw it, never noticed it. It's
right.
just, I can remember way back, this goes back a million years when I was a student at the University of Michigan, and they still put out college yearbooks. And one of the sections was all the fraternities would have a page where all the fraternity brothers would stand in front of their fraternity house for a team picture, and then that would be published. Well, one of the fraternities with all their brothers with sports coats and slacks, were standing on the steps in front of their house, and one of them had removed his private parts and had it just hanging out there on his pants. And it got published. I mean, so...
I think that was in the Hollywood Nights, wasn't it? He's playing the violin.
This would have been back in the early 70s.
Okay, that was...
And the guy did it. So all sorts of people must have seen that picture and went through. So I feel for whoever did that. I mean, it's embarrassing. It should never have happened. I doubt if it was a statement. That's a little risky. Unless somebody was already leaving.
But to the larger point that you're making, though, that mistakes, even back when papers were fully staffed and had editors and photo editors and there were more layers of review, mistakes still got through. I mean, people are people, humans being humans. Mistakes still happen.
Yeah, usually they were headlines written where you're trying to jam it in. I was looking some of them up, and one of them was like, homicide victims rarely talk to police. Those are just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Or you put a picture from one story poorly placed next to a headline from another story.
Right.
Something funny, you know. To have something like that get through, I'm trying to think of, I don't remember any stories like that, but boy, I'll tell you what, it could have happened. I mean, people used, it didn't happen to us. It happened to the Livingston County Press before I worked there, when the Argus and the Press were still different. Somebody put in a fake obituary for a local, relatively prominent attorney who hadn't died.
Oops.
Okay?
Did they get sued?
Was it a joke?
Remember Stanley Berriman, the Berriman building? It's a little building that's across the street from where the county press used to be. And Stanley Berriman was this crotchety old guy, and somebody had a bone to pick with him, so to speak, and put a obituary in. And he wasn't dead. And
Well.
once people realized he wasn't dead, they had all sorts of fun with it. Susan Magnola sending condolence flowers. We were competitors that time, so we went over and did a story on him, and she was wonderful.
Well, you know.
So, but I mean, those things happen.
Right.
You just fear that it doesn't happen to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I guess so. Moving away from that particular incident, and we talked somewhat about this before, but just about the state of media, I guess, especially print publications, because with the Livingston Daily, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, my impression is that the print version is secondary. It seems to be almost an afterthought. The main product is the website and all the digital advertising.
I think that's probably the case. It's been so long since I've been there, but before I left, what used to be called the booth papers, they're called M Live now, they'd already gone in that direction. The Ann Arbor News was was one of the first ones. I can remember talking to editors there, kind of shaking their heads, saying, "We're just putting stories, putting them into a database so that it can get put up on our website, and then some guy at a remote location each day grabs some of the stories and slaps them for their print edition." But I mean, when's the last time you guys have purchased a print edition of a newspaper?
Well,
I don't even know if they have those newspaper boxes anymore where you can put your money in. Do they even have those?
Wait a minute, hold on. Actually,
Well, you need a
2015.
lot of quarters to do it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what their circulation is now. But it can't be very much. And I mean, I grew up in it. I used to hear the newspaper or the press was running in the back shop of my dad's store and stuff like that. I love newsprint. I can't tell you the last time I actually purchased
I mean, I also still enjoy reading a paper, an actual physical paper. I mean, I still read my wife likes to read books on her Kindle or on her phone. I still like a book. I like a physical medium that I can hold. That's just me, and everyone's different, and that's fine. My father, who, he passed away last month, but he was my newspaper source because he would come over every month with a big bag of newspapers and magazines after he'd read them, and he'd bring them and he was my source. And so I'm like, well, gosh, I miss getting that. I gotta sign up myself.
Okay, but that's the problem.
Right.
You're just talking about the demographic that likes newspapers.
Right.
Exactly. No, and by the way, I'm holding up here, and obviously you can't see this, Rich. I have an insert that I borrowed from an old newspaper box. You remember the cardboard inserts they would put in?
Oh, yeah.
And this is from the Detroit News, and I believe this is from the 1984 year.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It says, Everyday Tiger Page.
Yeah.
And it's a cardboard insert, and I remember seeing this, and I saw that the corner was kind of sticking out, and I was like, oh, I think I could take that.
Yeah, the statute of limitations on
Yes,
robbing a newspaper box.
So
Since
I
passed, so.
borrowed this. I hope that I don't get indicted.
By the way, you'll find this on eBay.
So anyway, I just thought it was pertinent since we mentioned this. I'd bring that out.
All right.
It just changed everything, and it happened so rapidly, and newspapers had a hard time adjusting. And I tell you what, I'm having a hard time figuring out what I want to do. I want to support the industry, but I really don't know if I want to pay that many subscriptions anymore for online
Well,
information.
I mean, I would say whether it's digital or it's print, people will pay for content if it's worth it, if they feel it is worthwhile. So I hear a lot of complaining from people about this. We'll pick on them. Let's pick on the Livingston Daily, who will say, I'm not paying that firewall. I'm not paying that paywall. Because I don't feel the content is even worth it, even for me to pay.
Right.
And so they go,
I don't feel it's worth it. That's one thing. But the complaint I don't get is somebody will be online and saying, can somebody send me a copy of this?
Right.
I don't want to pay for it. They do want to read it. They just don't want to pay for it.
Well,
and I know everybody's got different business models. I mean, you on the radio, you didn't have to pay for it. If you owned a radio, you could hear it. But if you want those stories and you think they're valuable, I mean, they're not.
Well, I mean, but look at the.
Produce, and so if you really think the stories aren't worth it, if the information isn't worth it, then fine.
Right.
But if you think it's worth it, but you don't want to pay for it, well, I think the problem's with the consumer then.
Right. Well, but I think it's finding the right business model. Look at the Washington Post. Look at the New York Times. I mean, they have successfully, somewhat, put up paywalls, and they are making a profit. And through other revenue sources too, don't get me wrong, but they put up a paywall and they are successful in people saying, you know what, I will pay for that content. I feel it's worth it.
Well, but those are unusual news sources. New York Times,
True.
National Paper. Here's the thing, though, the business model changed so dramatically. Back when things were normal for the newspaper industry, yes, people paid for the product, but you kept the price pretty low because you wanted to get high circulation.
Right.
Circulation revenue probably only accounted for 20% of a newspaper's revenue. The rest came from advertising.
Exactly.
Right.
And the internet killed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the industry never quite figured that out. Although, I mean, I think, like I said, I mentioned the New York Times or the Washington Post as examples of where, somewhat belatedly, newspapers said, you know what, we can't just be giving away our content for free. What business model works where you're just giving your stuff away for free? Like two idiots in a basement doing a podcast.
Right.
You know, what kind of nonsense is that? I mean, what kind of morons would...
Those are the guys editing papers now.
So, well, you know, we could go around and around on this, but I think it's an interesting take on Picturegate. And, well...
I just wonder why, if they ever going to identify it. You know what it made me think of? And this is showing my humor. Did you ever see the movie Porky's?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Perhaps. 12 or 14 times.
for educational purposes.
Sure.
There's a scene where there's
The gym teacher?
Or is it the shower scene?
wants to have a lineup of
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
What they call them, the tallywhackers.
Yes.
Through the wall. And I'm going to say, yeah, they're going to have to identify this kid.
Okay. Well, investigative reporting. We'll get on this immediately.
That's right.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
Oh, no, we don't want to. No.
All right. Once again, we've known less than we did when we started.
Yes, thank you, Rich Perlberg.
I've done my job.
Yes, you have.
We'll talk to you next week, Rich. Thanks.
All right.
All
All right. The Less You Know, brought to you by Jordan Genso with the Genso team at Remax Platinum. Call him today, 248-444-9777, or find him on Facebook, Jordan Genso, Community Serving Community Realtor. All right. We're late. We're late for a very important date.
Oh, my God.
Thank you. So because Rich blew us off, that's pushed us behind, and now it's time for us to call our mermaid connection.
Yes. Molly the Mermaid.
Molly Cunningham.
Making dreams come true.
Yeah.
With her flipper fin on.
Hey now.
Hello?
Hi, Molly. It's Mike and John from Mike and John Got It Going On.
Oh, hi. How are you doing
First, we want to apologize for being late. It was John's fault.
No, it was Rich Perlberg's
All
fault.
right, it was somebody's fault,
Yeah.
but not mine.
Anyway.
Oh, I'm not worried about it at all.
Right. Well, that's good. I mean, and you're probably good at holding your breath.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
so-
I'm used to that.
Right.
So, you know, a few days ago on the show, we were talking about a trend that's taken over the past few years has been this mermaiding thing, and then we heard about you and your mermaiding.
Yeah. You run Mermaid Molly Entertainment LLC.
Yes, that is my company.
Yeah, and Molly, and I believe we've talked to you in the past. I mean, you've been in several stage productions at like the Dio and
Yeah.
and I know we've talked to you in the past.
Why did you not bring up the tail when we talked to you?
We had no idea about this other life you were leading.
It's funny. Sometimes I just don't think to bring it up. But yeah, I was on your radio show once before. It was when I did Murder at the Howard Johnsons at the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
All right.
So now, you know, amidst your acting career, you're also doing this Mermaid Molly Entertainment. How long have you been a mermaid?
I started back in 2016.
Okay.
All right. So about 6 years. And what inspired you, or what made you get into this?
Well, it was kind of interesting, actually, because when I started, it really started with, I wanted to do a mermaid photo shoot because I've always been obsessed with mermaids, and I was that weird kid that talked about mermaids, like, all the time. So I bought a very, very beginner tail to do this photo shoot with a photographer, and then one of my girlfriends had said, well, why don't you come and do a party for my daughter, and I'll plug it all over social media. And I thought, okay, well, I'll give it a try. And so went and did that and really, really enjoyed it. And then I started getting more and more inquiries. And then at one point I decided, okay, well, I should probably go, you know, the proper direction with this and become an LLC and get the proper insurance and get certifications. And then it just kind of took off from there.
All right. So let's back up just a couple paces,
All right.
if we can. The budget tail. I'm sure there's high end and the one that your starter
Right.
tail, if you will, your fin.
Right.
So tell us about when you have this thing on. Can you walk?
No, you
No.
cannot walk.
Okay.
So that's one of the biggest questions that I get, because one of the most complicated parts of doing a mermaid party is, if you think about it, for princess entertainers, for superhero entertainers, whatever, they can walk into a party and they can walk out of a party.
Right.
So the most complicated thing with the mermaiding is that most of the time, for safety reasons, I have to have an assistant there, which we call like a mer tender or a mer handler.
Okay.
Yes. And they have to be there for safety reasons, but also a big part of what they do is they're making sure that there are no children around when I am tailing up and detailing.
I wonder what the phrases were for
So
that.
let's just say you're at a dry party, okay,
Right,
and you have
right.
to go into another room to tail up.
Right.
All right. So how do you enter? Are you like
do
crawling
they
in?
carry you in? I mean,
Yeah, so sometimes I've been carried before, and some girls are carried on a regular basis. For me personally, I don't like it because I've just heard of girls being dropped and
Yeah.
injuring their
Well,
backs,
yeah.
or even like their assistant getting injured.
Yeah, you definitely need
So-
insurance for this, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for liability reasons, I actually like to use. I have like a really, really heavy duty wagon that I actually purchased. It carries like up to like 900 pounds or something. So I intentionally got this wagon so that we could transport mermaids at events. So I have that wagon. There's some other little ways around it.
I was gonna say you get like a mechanic's creeper or something and
slide in.
you know.
Yeah, we get very creative.
Well, yeah, and so I mean, obviously, I would imagine. You tell me. Most of your bookings are for kids' parties, and creating that illusion. But I know that you also do adult mermaid parties. Is that right?
Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. At this point, I've done so many different types of events, but even like last summer, I did a festival where it was a concert festival, and there were several bands there, and so they just wanted, I think we had 3 mermaids there, and they basically just wanted mermaids in a giant clamshell. So I have a couple different giant clamshells that have like LED lighting, and they change colors
nice.
at night.
Dang, what kind of traveling?
I mean-
what do you got? A semi truck to, a box truck to haul your stuff?
Well, the cool thing about those is they actually function like a bouncy house. So you can put them in a pretty small bag when you pack them up, but they have like a fan in them. and so it pushes air through the shell for the entire duration of the event, so you don't have to worry about them getting like a hole in them and deflating or anything like that, because they function just like a bouncy house.
Right, we're looking at a picture right now where you're in this inflatable clamshell with a dog. Somebody's posed you with a dog in this picture.
So that's one of the smaller ones. So that one is actually a pool float.
Oh, I see.
And so
I should keep
sometimes
looking.
we like to use those too, but the reason I bought these other ones is because every once in a while those pool floats will start to deflate during an event.
And that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, as we see the bigger ones now. Yeah, I see the bigger ones now.
So,
I see what you're saying, where it's like a bounce house.
Now, do you actually swim? If somebody has a pool, do you actually get in the pool and swim with the tail on? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All of my tails are swimmable. Basically, the way that it works is depending on what the tail is. Some of them have a monofin that you can basically take out of the tail, and then some of them, like my silicone tails, have a monofin that is built in, so you never actually take the monofin out.
Okay. So do you have multiple tails?
Oh yeah.
So
depending on the
the
circumstance.
event, you go, well, I think I wore that one last time. I think I'll go with the red one.
I mean, sometimes it just depends on if the client wants something really specific. Sometimes they ask. Sometimes if it's for like a kid's birthday party, they'll say, oh, my daughter's favorite colors are pink, purple, blue, whatever. And then I kind of work around which tail I'm going to use based on their favorite colors.
Oh, very nice. And again, it's especially for kids, it's creating that illusion. It's like you mentioned before, like having a princess party. Little kids will think, oh, I'm really with Snow White, and that's wonderful. And I think the same thing with being a mermaid. Especially the younger kids, they really think you're a mermaid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, have you run into some of these adult parties where the guys have these kind of weird sense of fantasy?
Yes. Sometimes.
You ever had to hightail it out of there? See what I did there?
Oh, dear Lord. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, Molly.
Oh boy. No, yeah. Sometimes we get some interesting comments at events. Also, we actually have a term in the industry for men that like to message us online inappropriately. And we call them Merverts.
Okay. You thought mine was bad with the hightail? Really?
Okay, I'm going to delete this. Hold on. No.
Yes,
well,
they definitely exist.
That I have no doubt. We have no doubt.
Joseph, how there's obviously a market for this, and you're local, but have you come in contact with or had conversations, whether it's online or phone or whatever, with others that are doing this too? Share ideas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when I started doing this, I had done a little bit of research at the time back in 2016, and I could only find, I think it was like 2 other girls in the state doing it, maybe 3 other girls. Now there are tons of girls in Michigan doing this. There's a lot of girls popping up in Indiana. I now have mermaid friends like all over the state because I was actually just at a festival in Virginia performing with a company in Michigan that has the largest mobile tank in North America. Like they can actually take it around to festivals around the U.S.
Wow.
So they brought that out to Norfolk, Virginia for the Norfolk Harbor Fest. And I met a bunch of mermaids, from across the states because they brought us all together to do this performance.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say,
there's girls everywhere.
Maybe there's conventions. They have conventions for just about
there
everything.
Has to be, right?
Yeah.
Yep, there's actually Merfest International is a convention here in Michigan, and then there's a huge one also called Mermagicon that happens in Virginia every year.
So now, do you have? I know there's events where they have tanks. Water tanks. Do you have a tank that you can use or borrow or rent?
Yeah, at this time I don't have a tank. I have considered purchasing a tank, and I'm still kind of on the fence about it just because not only is it obviously a huge investment,
right,
but there's a lot of upkeep that goes with it, and certain tanks are really not meant to be mobile tanks, so
right.
You have to be careful about moving them. Basically, if there's any kind of, basically like a warranty or whatever you want to call it on the tank, if you move it, then that warranty can be null and void.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so it's a little tricky. But
Well,
right
and the
now I get to go and perform in the tank in South Haven, which is Aqua Performance Group's tank that they have a lease on.
Right.
And then this year I'm going to be back at the Renaissance Festival with a wonderful group of mermaids, and they have a tank there as well. So at least I get to go and play in other people's tanks.
Well,
sometimes.
I would imagine having your own tank, the issue about the water, I mean, you have to fill it up. You couldn't move it with water in it. And then, I would hope these things have a heater. So if you're going to be in this tank for a while.
You have to have a proper heater, a proper filtration system.
Right.
Knowing about all the different, it's just
That's a lot.
It's kind of like a pool, but even more complicated.
Right. That would be a lot, I agree.
Now let's shift gears just a little bit here because I'm looking at a couple pictures of the tails. Is there tail maintenance you have to do?
Mervert alert. Anyway.
Really, you think about, I got to shine the tail today. Or you got to do something to maintain them, make them look and stay usable.
Oh, right.
Absolutely. So it just depends on what kind of tail. But like for the silicone tails, like let's say I wear it in a pool. After I wear it, because of the chlorine, I have to give it a baking soda bath to neutralize the chlorine. Yeah. And then every once in a while, I have to give them vinegar baths. And then when I take them out of the bathtub, I have to basically prop them open and run a fan through them for like up to a couple of days until the entire inside of the tail is dry, so that you don't have to worry about getting any mold.
Yeah, that would be.
That's not a moldy tail.
No one wants a moldy tail.
Where do you keep these things? Like at your residence, where do you keep?
You have a closet, or
the tails just hanging like a meat locker? Or?
I know. So some people build stands for their tails. I actually have a giant garment bag that I stack them up on, and then I stick that underneath my bed. But my friend did tell me that she has discovered that the perfect size garment bag for tails is actually a body bag.
Oh.
So she's getting a lot of interesting ads popping up on her Facebook.
I guess so.
She's not under investigation at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll need 12 body bags.
You got to wonder, let's just say you have a maid or something for the first time they come in to clean your house and they're cleaning it and go under the bed. And, what the heck's going on here?
I know.
There's a bunch of tails under the bed. Weird finding.
And so when you're in a situation where there is a tank, like in one of these festivals, and they have a big tank, and so I'm looking at pictures where kids are watching you underwater.
Yeah.
So how long can you hold your breath? How long do you try and stay under? Because you're blowing kisses at the kids, you're making hearts, with them, and you want to maintain that illusion.
Absolutely. So it just depends. Like my breath hold can change in water. It can change with the temperature. It obviously changes if I'm tired, if I've been in the tank for a long time.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, I got my NAUI. So NAUI is the National Association of Underwater Instructors. So I have a level 1 and a level 2 certification. So I have training in breath hold, water safety, water rescue, basic free diving. And when I did my level 2 certification, to be able to pass, I did have to hit 2 minutes.
Okay.
Now, do you know any male mermaids?
Oh,
man-maids.
Or are they mermans? What are they called?
Man-maids.
Yep, mermen. Yep,
Mermen.
out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, that just seems odd.
Well, how is that? Why would it be odd? Men can be mermen too.
I don't know. I saw the Little Mermaid and I saw Splash, and I never saw any guy mermaids. So.
Oh, you never saw?
No.
Nope. They're absolutely out there. There's going to be at least one merman at the Michigan Renaissance Festival this year, from my understanding from our group messages. So yeah, there's absolutely mermen out there. But I would say that there are definitely not as many of them in, at least here in Michigan. I haven't met that many. So I know there's a lot of mermen go to conventions as hobbyists. I just don't know if there are quite as many of them doing it professionally as there are, and the market's a little more saturated with mermaids than mermen, but they're definitely out there.
So you're saying there's an opportunity for mermen here. Now, hold on.
But then we got to go through the swimming thing and the certification, and that's a lot of work. And who would want us in their tank?
We need more mermen.
Well, but she said if we're doing those dry parties, they'll just roll us in on a wagon. I could do that.
Right? Then you don't have to worry about all the water stuff.
Can you flip your tail to the beat of a song?
Oh gosh, I've never tried that.
No, let's say you're dry. You're on land at a party and they put on a certain tune. I just wondered.
That's a good question.
I think you
would
lost
say
Molly.
It might depend on the tail because some of my tails, like one of my silicones, the Fluke alone is about 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
You gotta have strong abs.
It's a
for
good
this
workout,
gig.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends because sometimes with that one, like when I flip the Fluke, I seriously get like immediately cramps.
Yeah. You don't.
You know what? I think that is a new phrase we're going to use here on
Flipping
Mike
the
and John
Fluke.
Got It Going On. Flipping the Fluke.
Yep.
Flipping the Fluke.
Flip the Fluke.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been very interesting, and it just kind of all tied in with our big splash party that's coming
Yeah.
up on July 9th. So.
I know. I wish that I could come out to that if I didn't have an event and then I'm filming that night in Lansing.
Well, that you know
Otherwise,
what?
I would be there.
That
You
is
can cancel
that.
that and
Well,
join
yeah.
us.
But you know that's the whole thing. You're so busy. I mean, you've got
Yeah.
events booked up because it's very popular. And if folks want to find out more or book you for a party, Mermaid Molly Entertainment, they can go online, book mermaidmolly.com.
Well, pretty cool stuff, Molly. We appreciate you sharing the story and having some fun with us today.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting.
All right, Molly. Thanks. Have a great
Okay.
week. All
Have
right.
a great day.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, I didn't know there was such a big thing for when I brought up the mermaiding thing being kind of a trend.
Right.
Apparently
I
it's
mean,
more
I knew
than
it was
thought.
out there.
More than I thought.
And then our good friend Steve DeBruin at the Dio said, hey, you need to talk to Molly.
Yep.
And we just did. So, yeah, thanks to
Well, whatever
Molly.
Steve says, we do.
Well, Molly Cunningham.
All right.
So, very cool. All right.
So I'm going to check the answers.
Before
real
we
quick.
were so rudely interrupted by the late Rich Perlberg.
He was talking us from the dead. No, he wasn't. Yes, we were in the middle of the answers for.
Well, his career
Big
is
guesses.
clearly dead if he's on this podcast.
88% of men have done this at least once. 75% of women have. This is what it does have to do with your vehicle.
Hey, now. Did they flip the Fluke?
I'm not sure. First, you got to find the Fluke.
Yeah.
The donuts in the parking lot we talked about. Been in an accident. Saying men crash more than women. Parallel parked. When's the last time you parallel parked and did it well?
A couple weeks ago.
Check your tire
Pretty
pressure.
proud of myself. Of course, I got with backup cameras now. It's kind of cheap.
Yeah, it is kind of cheating, isn't it? Pick their nose in their car. Men are probably more likely to do that than women.
I was just rubbing the side of my nose.
Drive with the check engine light on.
Well, yeah.
It's nothing.
Shut up.
Car's still running. Lock your keys in your
Turn
car.
the radio up.
Change your own oil and filter.
Yeah, no one does that.
Added washer fluid. You know, some people don't even know where the washer fluid is located underneath the hood.
I will do that. That is the basic maintenance I'll do. I will add washer fluid. Everything else, I have no idea.
Lost their keys, ran out of gas, had sex in their car. That's our good friend Spencer.
Well, talk about flipping the Fluke.
Had locked yourself in the car.
Yeah.
So-
How do you lock yourself in the car?
I don't know. I guess it could happen.
You know, a moron can't figure out how to unlock the door. I don't think you should be allowed outside.
So we had no winner.
Ah,
You're going to be surprised.
okay. All right. So again, how many? What was the percentage?
88%
Yeah,
of men. when it comes
88%
to
of
your-
men
Your vehicle, your car, truck, SUV.
have done this at least once.
I've done this at least once. 75% of women have.
And the answer?
Jumpstart your car. Jumpstart your car. So
Wow.
it can be tricky for some. Ready for today's 2-cent history lesson?
Am I ready?
Before we do, we want to let you know about a great job opening.
Am I fired?
Here on this.
Am I fired?
Yes.
Is this
Your name has to
are
be
you,
John.
Are you giving me the
You
pink
have
slip?
to have a basement. And you have to be a customer of Firehouse Doors.
Yeah.
They are looking for qualified people to earn a great wage starting at $20 an hour.
Right. If you have good mechanical aptitude, this is a full-time position. And again, it starts at $20 an hour. Rapid advancement, and you can be part of one of the most well-regarded small businesses in Livingston County.
And it's a
Contact them
full-time
to-
position,
Yeah,
too,
full-time
so-
job. Email firehousedoor@yahoo.com or text or call 810-599-7480. And as often as we hear people, no one wants to work anymore. And it's like, well, because they don't want to work for crappy wages and a jerk-off boss. Well, that's not the case with Firehouse Doors. Mike Witt, a wonderful guy. And as we've said, they treat each customer like family. They treat their employees like family as well. So if you're looking for a full-time position, $20 an hour to start with rapid advancement, Firehouse Doors is the place to go. Email firehousedoor@yahoo.com or text or call 810-599-7480. Firehouse Doors.
Tell them Mike and John sent you, and we get 5% of your pay.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right, our 2-cent history lesson today, the final day of June, June 30th. Today is Asteroid Day or Meteor Watch Day.
Ruh-roh.
National Ice Cream Soda Day. Ice cream soda. Going down to the soda shop.
Oh, that sounds good.
Get a nice
I haven't had a good ice cream
you know,
soda.
I like a good Boston cooler myself.
Hold on.
Verner's and vanilla.
Ooh, the sarsaparilla. Where's the penny candy, Mr. Drucker?
This is the second day this week he's made 60s TV references.
Is that all?
1859 in this state, thousands gathered to watch French daredevil Charles Blondin cross Niagara Falls on a tightrope. If only they had online betting then.
DraftKings. What's the over-under on him dying? I got $20 on him dying.
I bet he's going to fall but not die. The odds are different.
I think he's going to break his back. Give me $20 on breaking his back.
1912, Richard Hellman packaged and sold his first jar of Blue Ribbon mayonnaise.
Hellman's is the best.
Yeah.
I got to tell you. I mean, it's got.
I'm not a big mayonnaise
It's got
guy,
8
but-
trillion calories and it's just fat in a jar.
Well,
But it's good.
but it was Blue Ribbon.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Hellman's.
1936, Gone with the Wind was first published on this day.
Frankly, I don't give a damn. Sorry. Not sorry.
You know what? I'm about ready. You flipped the fluke.
Did I flip the fluke there?
Yes, you did. You jumped the shark. That's our new. You jumped the shark. You flipped the fluke.
Flip the fluke. That's the new
Yes.
phrase.
1953, the first Chevy Corvette was manufactured. A revolutionary sports car, priced a little over $3,000.
In 1953.
Yeah.
Damn.
1976, a cop raid.
What did they have?
Police raided the home of Neil Diamond, suspecting drugs in the home. The coppers went in. They searched Diamond's house. They found less than 1 ounce of marijuana.
Because when I think dopers,
Oh,
did
yeah.
you do it again?
I don't know. I
You hit the.
I gotta complete the page.
You hit the button where it reads everything off your page.
Oh my God!
Just
Stop.
You got to just close it down. Just close the page.
No, I want to watch this.
Terms. Advertising.
We need advertisers. It
Ad
says.
choices.
All right. Goodbye.
Shut up.
Where are we at?
Yeah,
1970. That was 1976. Neil Diamond's home. They found
Right,
it.
that hippie,
Less than an
Neil
ounce
Diamond.
of marijuana.
Because if I'm a a narcotics officer, I'm thinking, yeah, Neil Diamond, that's where the drugs are.
You know what? They heard that song "Forever in Blue Jeans."
Crackling Rosie, we know what's crackling over there. Bust in the door, boys.
No, I am. I said to no one there. No wonder they're searching this dude's house.
Okay.
All right. 1977. Marvel Comics launched a comic book based on Kiss.
No. Yeah.
Kiss comic books.
I think that was the same year, or it was the year after that the Phantom in the Park TV movie came out. Yeah. A classic piece of garbage.
And that was the billing for it.
It's a classic.
Come see a classic
Come
piece of
see
garbage.
this classic piece of 70s garbage.
1994, the U.S. Figure Skating Association stripped Tanya Harding, of her national championship
Well, yeah,
in 1994.
right.
They banned her from the organization for life.
Right.
She was banned for life.
Hit the.
BFL.
Yeah. They flipped her Fluke.
And that was due to the attack on Nancy Kerrigan, who
What?
said,
Why me?
and finally, 2001, doctors implanted a dual-purpose pacemaker into the vice president, Dick Cheney's chest. A dual purpose.
Right.
It wasn't a single purpose. It was a dual
right.
purpose. He got double the duty.
Well, sure.
He was the vice president.
Right.
That's why.
One half of the pacemaker powered his Terminator brain, and then the other half made sure pumping the children's blood that he was regularly infused with.
I don't think that's what the dual thing did.
I'm
It
sorry.
was like having a dual
I heard a
carburetor.
rumor. I might have read that in the
It
Inquirer.
was like having a dual carburetor on a Chevy. He wanted,
On cold mornings, you're
that was Cheney getting out of bed.
Well, we've had quite a morning here.
I think so.
Yeah.
We didn't
Let's-
solve anything.
No,
All
as
right,
we
that's
normally don't.
Your 2-cent history lesson for today.
And that's enough, isn't it?
all right.
Haven't we had enough?
Fishtails and tallywhackers
Oh, I forgot about Tallymakers.
and dual
That's right.
carburetors.
Thank you, Rich Perlberg.
All right.
Bringing up that fine scene from Porky's.
All right, that's going to do it for today. We're back tomorrow.
Yes. And then we're off next Monday and Tuesday. Just
Wow.
so
Yeah,
you get a
long
break.
weekend.
You're
Lucky you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Mike and John got it going on.
I'm kind of worn out.
I know. It's a lot. It's a lot of mermaiding.
Keep it giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.
All right.
Whoa.
I think I'm a mervert.
For those of you that were thinking dirty thoughts,
I'm sorry.
during
This is not right.
the mermaid
I
section,
don't know what it is. There's
today's
it's something
podcast
very attractive
was
about
kind
it.
of sexy.
Yeah.
Is
I mean,
it because of Daryl Hannah back in 1984?
Maybe that is part of it. I don't know. But when Molly was telling us about these merverts, that message,
Here's the thing that
I totally get it.
and I just thought of this.
I mean, I'm not. Don't do that.
He's
Don't be a
a
weirdo.
freako. So when she would talk in Mer Talk or Fish Talk, that squeal, remember that?
Oh, I do
Wouldn't that
remember,
kind of
yeah.
be a turnoff?
They could be.
Kind of ruin it for
Right. Well, I mean, everyone's into something. For instance, people like this show. What the hell's wrong with
you.
them?
We're not sure. We can't answer that.
No,
so
there
we're
is
not
no
going
answer.
to.
No, we're not going to try. So,
Right. July 9th, Historic Hall Theater, Splash, free. Free splash.
right. It's the Mike
Come
and
wet.
John Summer Splash Party. First 100 people in the door get a free T-shirt plus a TPC card from Firehouse Doors, and then Cooper and Binkley Jewelers giving away some bling at the end of the show.
Doing some other drawings too, so we
Absolutely.
hope to see you there. Start the lineup now.
Right.
You won't get in until the 9th, but start the lineup now.
You merverts.
We should have something special for the first person in line.
Ooh.
We're going to think of that.
Oh,
I'll let
yeah.
you know later.